Hey everybody, I'm John Finn, and welcome to an unboxing and review of the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe Revelations Spikor. Pretty excited to have this guy in my collection. Let's get him open, let's take a look, and let's decide if he's worth the money. Alright, so we got Mr. Spikor out of his packaging and here on our examination table. And the first thing that I want to point out are the accessories he comes with. He comes with the cool spiked club. He also comes with the trident that replaces one of his hands. I love that. And he comes with two extra hand sculpts, which are both fists that can go on either or hand placement. I dig this guy because, one, he's got some pretty cool accessories. Two, he's covered in spikes, and they're pretty stiff. Like, the spikes on his head are pretty stiff, the spikes on his armor are pretty stiff, and unlike the vintage figure, the spikes themselves are actually an armor that you can take off of him, and he has the standard Masterverse buck underneath that. So that's a pretty cool little touch. I enjoy that. Anything that makes these things more modular, I'm all about, and that definitely is a plus. He's got some pretty good detail. He's got the standard Masters of the Universe Revelation / Masterverse loincloth there with the belt. Pretty decent colors there. It's got a little bit of a shine to it. It's not metallic, but it kind of imitates metallicness pretty well. His club is pretty good looking. It's got some good spikes. It's done in kind of a slightly metallicized plastic. There's a little bit of a gleam in there, but it's not as much as, say, like a hero or something like that. The stripes go all the way around, and you can see the little straps that hold on the armor itself. He's got some pretty cool little bracelets there. His articulation does have some of the Masterverse flaws that I found in some of the earlier figures that hopefully will be cleared up in coming waves. He has some pretty stiff / loose shoulder joints, like here to here. It's okay. We get down to about there, it starts to stick, and you kind of got to force it down. It's nowhere near as bad as something like the Skelegods I've got, though. It does go up and down. And his right shoulder's even more stiff, but it does move, just not as much as maybe you would want it to. He's got the bicep swivel, of course. He's got the double-jointed elbows. He has the hinged wrists that also rotate, and they will go back and forth. They're a little bit stiff, and his little bracelets are a little bit thick, so it kind of inhibits the articulation just a little bit. He's got the ab crunch, just like the regular ones, where the ab crunch is actually across the top part of the torso. He does have some waist swivel there, which is good. We've seen that some of the Marvel Legends recently haven't had that, so we like that they're keeping those pretty consistent in the Masterverse line. His legs will split. They'll go forward and back. There's a thigh cut. He's got the double jointed knees, he's got the boot cut, and of course the ball joint here on the bottom. His boots are fairly monochrome. There's not a lot going on in terms of detail or wash on those, and he's got the fur on the top. But he looks pretty cool. He's got some really bright, vivid colors. He isn't as bulbous as I thought he was going to be. He looks kind of awkward in all of the press shots and stuff that we got for him for the product shots. But he's much more slim and in line with the scale of the rest of the Masterverse figures, because he did look a little bit off in some of those early shots. I'm going to real quick take off his left hand here, and we're going to throw on the trident just to see how he looks with that, and then we'll wrap up with some last impressions of this guy. Now that's what I'm talking about. Look at him with this cool, like, Wolverine type claw here, coming out looking all badass. One thing about it that I noticed, there is no articulation in this particular piece here, so it's just going to stick straight out from the wrist itself, where the hand sculpts, of course, all have that hinge there, so you can bend it forward and back. That does not exist here, so just keep that in mind if you're thinking about posing this guy in certain ways. That might limit you a bit. The double joint, the bottom, or the front joint, or the forearm part of the double joint of the elbow was a little bit stiff, but I got it to loosen up so we can get him in a cool little thing here. And of course, he's got the great legs and feet where you can just twist him and turn him in any which way, and he'll stand pretty solidly. It's got some pretty bright colors on him. He's got some great accessories, extra hand sculpts. You actually have 2 extra hand sculpts. I've got 3 right now because I've taken off that left hand, because one of the accessories does replace one of the hand sculpts. sculpts. I'm probably going to keep him like this just because I just think this looks so friggin' cool, and I really dig that. But yeah, this is a pretty cool figure. If you're a completionist for the Masterverse line, obviously he's going to be a must-have. And depending on your love of the series himself, you could skip him and not really miss too much because he wasn't a huge player in the old series. He definitely, depending on when you got into the original Masters of the Universe line, he may or may not have been a big part of your play cycle. But if he was, he's a great buy. He's a solid figure. He comes with some great accessories that, can interchange and just really have a cool look to him. So if you love Spikor, if he's one of your all-time favorites, this one isn't going to let you down. Let's get a closer look at his face here just so you can see. There's some pretty good detail there. It's a pretty unique sculpt. He's got some teeth there. His eyes look cool. The spikes are there. There's no derpiness there as we've seen in some of the Masterverse figures that have come out and some of the Origin figures that have come out. So he's good. He stands. He articulates. This is a job well done, Mattel. I dig this. Keep making figures like this of the more obscure characters that maybe don't get as much love. That's what I hope the Masterverse does. I hope they keep bringing us cool figures like this that are a little bit outside of the mainstream of what people think when they think of Masters of the Universe, because this is really what gives the line its flavor, these crazy characters like this with the kind of kitsch names like Spikor and Webstore. Let's see more of these ore figures in the Masterverse line, and I will be a happy camper. I hope this gave you an idea whether or not you want to add Spikor to your list, or maybe even add the Masterverse to your collection. I think this is going to be a legendary line if they keep up the work they've been doing. This is going to be the new classics, and I really encourage you to get into it now. Oh, one small thing. I think the wrist bracers come off. I couldn't get it off. They were a little bit stuck on there. This guy has been in the package for a while, so it could just be, it's settled in place, and I didn't want to really force it off. So that might be the case if you buy this guy now, because he has been out for a while. So just keep that in mind if you get him. But yeah, I dig this. I hope you keep collecting the way you like to collect, whether that's keeping your figures mock, opening them for display or for play. However you like to do it, it's the right way to do it. And if anybody else tells you otherwise, tell them you're going to shove Spikor's trident somewhere super uncomfortable, like in the space between their little toe and the next one beside it. Yeah, get them. Anyway, I'm John Finn. Until next time, I'm out.